समझ नहीं आ रहा अपने सैलरी इंक्रीमेंट का क्या करूं।
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है? अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स के एसआईपी का टॉप अप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
क्या? समझ में नहीं आया।
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है? अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स का एसआईपी टॉपअप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
अब समझा।
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
There is a new bird painting on the political radar screen in India. In fact, it's not a bird, it's an insect. An insect that only occasionally can fly just a little bit, just flutter a little bit, not go into a flight. A cockroach. Now, what exactly is this cockroach phenomenon? Cockroach phenomenon is something called Cockroach Janta Party. See its website, it's on your screens. Cockroach Janta Party. It started for a lark on May 16. On May 16, somebody called Abhijit Dipke, just 30 years old, a political communications specialist, a student at Boston University, and somebody, for clarity, who had worked on the social media team of Aam Aadmi Party for 3 years between 2020 and 2023. He started this website and he said, I am starting this Cockroach Janta Party. Now, the Cockroach Janta Party had followed an ill-guarded or maybe an unthinking or maybe a casual comment by the Chief Justice of India, Justice Surya Kant, who had compared people who come in as activists or who claim to be media people or who claim to be lawyers but don't have real qualifications with cockroaches. That was a dismissive comment he made. He tried to clarify later by saying that I didn't want to insult anybody. I was not saying that media people are cockroaches or activists are cockroaches or lawyers are cockroaches. I was only referring to those with fake degrees who claim to be either lawyers or journalists or activists. By that time, however, I would not say the damage was done because he had said something, he had clarified it, that issue was over as far as he was concerned. But something had got sparked, or maybe this comment had touched a raw nerve somewhere. And that raw nerve is that of young Indians. Now, what happened? This Cockroach Janta Party. This is a self-deprecatory idea that, look, you call us cockroaches can never go extinct, cockroaches will fight. In fact, there was a time when Arun Puri, my former editor in India Today, whenever he was asked, will news media survive? He used to say, we are like the cockroaches. We will always survive. So it may be self-deprecatory, but cockroach also denotes strength and indestructibility. Anybody who's tried to eradicate cockroaches from their homes, even after spraying all of your house with poisonous things. It used to be something called Lakshman Rekha earlier, and various other iterations have come since then. You can never be sure that all cockroaches are gone, and even if you think they are gone, they will make a comeback. So there is a certain resilience to the cockroach as well. You combine all of that and the idea clicks. Idea clicks at a time when a lot of young people in India are unemployed or underemployed and spending a lot of time online. That is the impulse that Abhijit Dipke caught. See what happened as a result. I will give you a timeline. On May 15, CJI made this comment. On May 16, Abhijit Dipke produced or put up this Google form for membership to this party called Cockroach Janta Party, and also put out a 5-point charter, which I will read to you because it's quite interesting. By May 18, this is the age of virality. By May 18, this had become an international talking point. By May 21, his Instagram following, he started an Instagram page. Please see this page on your screens. By May 21, that is this Thursday, his following had gone to 109 million. Why is that number significant? Because at that point, it had exceeded the following of the BJP official handle. In fact, as we record today, that is May 22, Friday, it's already crossed 20.5 million, and chances are by the end of the day, it will be 21. That's the pace at which it's growing. This makes it 2.5 times as big as the BJP's official handle already. For comparisons, I can tell you, it's 2.5 times BJP. It's more than 1.5 times Indian National Congress, which is 13.4 million, and almost 10 times, in fact, more than 10 times Aam Aadmi Party, which is 1.9 million. He also started a Twitter handle, which within 3 or 4 days got up to 13.4 million. 13.4 million Twitter followers. That compared with 23 of the BJP, 11.5 of the Congress Party, and 6.1 of Aam Aadmi Party. So this was already within 3 days more than twice as much as Aam Aadmi Party and more than 60% of the BJP. And this was rising very fast. That's the Twitter handle that the government got blocked using Section 69A of Information Technology Act of 2000, basically claiming that this was a threat to national security. That is something in India that can be done quite easily. India does issue blocking orders on a lot of Twitter handles. For some reason, it hasn't happened with the Instagram handle of the Cockroach Janta Party. One reason could be that this Instagram handle is registered in America, but the government of India has the power to block it in India, to block access to in India. That hasn't happened. Now, if Abhijit Dipke claims to be a political communication specialist, he actually is quite smart because he knows his audience. The essential requirement for a communication specialist is to know your audience. In this case, he says the voice, look at his website, it says the voice of the lazy and the unemployed. Lazy is again self-deprecation. Unemployed is a reality because once he goes to the unemployed, he gets a large enough constituency. Lazy and unemployed is a very important political statement in today's environment, given the mood. Because in India, besides being unemployed, the problem is also being underemployed. So people have a lot of time, which makes them lazy and which makes them also spend a lot more time on social media or a lot more time online than those with a full 9-hour job in a day would have. That is also the outcome of having nearly free data in the country. That is something that the Prime Minister spoke about in Bihar during the elections when he said, we have given free data so young people of Bihar can now make reels and earn their living. To which Prashant Kishore responded by saying, Bihar ka voter muft data nahi mangta hai, that the voter of Bihar does not want free data, wo apna beta वापस मांगता है. The voter wants their son back because his entire campaign was again out-migration of Biharis working elsewhere in the country. And on a completely light note, Virender Sehwag said on Twitter once कि आज का लड़का आटा नहीं खाता है. So this free data also becomes an aid for underemployed or unemployed young people. And that is the demographic that this Cockroach Janta Party, I don't know how far it goes or how far the phenomenon goes or how far the idea or the mood goes, but that is what it is riding right now. Look at his qualifications for joining his party. Qualifications are quite simple. Number one, you should be unemployed. Unemployed by force, by choice, or by principle. We don't ask. Second, he says you must be lazy, but must be lazy physically only. Your brain may continue to spiral. So active in your mind, physically lazy. Physically lazy means you will be online, which is his third requirement, that you should be chronically online at least 11 hours a day, including bathroom breaks. So sense of humor is there. Number four, you can rant professionally, shout, but be honest and say something that matters. Those are the four qualifications that he lists. The point is, how did something like this get such a lot of support right away? Such a lot of support right away. And the key to this might lie in the manifesto they issued, because that might tell you something about the issues that are assailing young Indians' minds. How do you get 2.1 crore followers just like this? The 5-point agenda is, number one, if the party comes to power, no Chief Justice shall be granted a Rajya Sabha seat as a post-retirement award. Call this the Gogoi Amendment, because Justice Ranjan Gogoi retired as Chief Justice of India and was given a Rajya Sabha membership. So, if CJP comes to power, no CJI will be granted a Rajya Sabha seat. This is playing to the anti-establishment impulse among the young people. Number two, if any legitimate vote is deleted, whether in a CJP or opposition ruled state, the CEC shall be arrested under UAPA no less, right? as taking away voting rights of citizens is no less than terrorism. So, number one, skepticism about the higher judiciary, that you do this stuff, get to top positions, and then take favors from the government. And second, playing into the current mood among a large section of our population and voters that election process is not fair. Number three, women shall receive 50% reservation, not 33, without increasing the strength of parliament. Additionally, 50% of all cabinet positions shall be reserved for women. That's a motherhood and apple pie kind of agenda item. Number four, all media houses owned by Ambani and Adani shall have their license cancelled to make way for truly independent India. Bank accounts of Godi media anchors shall be investigated. This again is playing into the current mood among young Indians against what they see as compromised media or immature media, or media that gives you entertainment or cheap entertainment in place of news, or is very loaded and also is very pro-government. So once again, it's appealing to the anti-establishment mindset among the youth. And number five, any MLA or MP who defects from one party to another shall be barred from contesting elections and from holding any public office for a period of 20 years. Once again, everybody is irritated by defections. Everybody is irritated also by wholesale, mass-scale defections. One party today becomes another party the next day. We've just seen the split of All India Anna DMK in Tamil Nadu. So you can imagine how are the voters who voted for AIA DMK are feeling now that, look, I voted for this party. Now more than half the party has gone in one direction and the rest are in this direction. And this happened earlier with NCP, Shiv Sena, etc. None of this is possible to implement. Definitely not under our current constitution. This will need a revolution and maybe a new republic. No such thing is going to happen. But remember, when the Aam Aadmi Party was formed, the movement, anti-corruption movement preceding that had demanded a Jan Lokpal bill, which also would not have been possible under this constitution. However, that anti-corruption movement created a mood which led to the creation of Aam Aadmi Party and its immediate success in Delhi and later in Punjab as well. That might also be the reason why the government got so alarmed and got this Twitter handle banned. And there is a lot of word coming out from the government and circles close to the government. This is some kind of foreign subversion. There is a foreign hand in it. Most of the followers on these handles are foreigners. Dipke put out a post, please see it, from his handle, where he says 94% of his followers are in India, 1% are in America, etc., etc. That's his claim. We have no way of judging where his followers are coming from. We can just see who they are, what the names are. The important political point we are making in this episode of Cut the Clutter on this CJP phenomenon is that this becomes significant because in today's environment of virality and widespread youth anger and general disillusionment with the establishment, space has opened up for non-ideological politics. Not ideology of the left or the right, but just the ideology of disillusionment, anger, etc. We saw that happen with Aam Aadmi Party. It's a party that came to power in Delhi and later in Punjab without any ideology. We know that it's also difficult to sustain non-ideological politics. That's a struggle that Aam Aadmi Party is having now. But it's possible now for non-ideological parties to come and rule not just states but entire countries. See what happened in Nepal. Balen Shah, just 36. He had no ideology. He was just angry and he rode the anger of young Nepalese who were seeing reels and pictures, Instagram reels of children of Nepalese politicians, leading Nepalese politicians, ministers, top officials who were having fun overseas, who were buying expensive bags and dresses and flaunting them on Instagram while Nepal was suffering in poverty. They were able to ride that resentment and Balen Shah became their leader and became the prime minister of his country. Similarly, we saw in Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, it was anger over the lifestyle that the Rajapakshes had. They had half the cabinet positions between themselves, the family. They were leading a very lavish lifestyle while the country was suffering. The currency was collapsing, inflation was going up. Rajpaksha had also by law enforced organic farming, which had led to agricultural collapse. All of that anger then led to a wide public protest and storming of the presidency and the end of the Rajpaksha regime. It's the maturity of the Sri Lankan system that after that they still landed on their feet, held a fresh election, and a new leader came into power. Who was this new leader? This new leader, in a way, was an outsider. He had an ideology. He had a hard left ideology, in fact, but his party was marginal. JBP, Janata Vimukti Perumana, was marginal by now. However, people had got so fed up of the existing parties and the existing ideologies that in this mood of anger, they just chose a newcomer. They just wanted a new face. That's how Aruna Kumar Desanayake became president of Sri Lanka, and then his party swept the parliamentary election as well. He's 57 now. He was an outsider. He was not from the usual UNP, SLFP, established leaders in Sri Lanka. A new force was born in the country. In Nepal and Sri Lanka, in each country, new force was born. In Bangladesh also. In Bangladesh also, the student movement that led to the ouster of Sheikh Hasina, who was otherwise so well entrenched with dictatorial powers, that was a young man called Nahid Islam, just 28. They brought the government down, but he did not quite have gas in the tank to go and win elections in the country. There the conventional parties came in. Awami League had been banned. BNP, which was the other establishment party, came in and got a 2/3 majority. Nahid Islam's party is there. National Citizens Party, it got only 6 seats. So 3 places in our neighborhood, 3 countries in our neighborhood, we have seen some equivalent of a Gen Z protest bringing down an established government. Within our own country, I gave you the example of Aam Aadmi Party in the past, and now we have just seen Joseph Vijay, again somebody with not really an established political party. He launched a movement, a fan club. Fan club became a movement, an activist organization, and then he got enough support now to get a near majority in the state. Again, I find somewhere in his statements expression used that this is a party for those who are unemployed, lazy, and chronically online. He is now complaining that he is facing persistent cyber attacks, which he obviously suggests that are sponsored by Government of India, which is insecure about him. In the political system, there have been varied reactions to him. Shashi Tharoor of the Congress Party has said they should be allowed to exist. This is a pressure valve in a democracy. This is not a foreign conspiracy. This is satire reflecting the frustration of young Indians. He also says that democracy needs these pressure valves and it's better to allow them to be there. Samajwadi Party, Akhilesh Yadav's party, has been a bit more witty and more politically loaded. They've just put up a 3-word statement on 28th of May. BJP Banam CJP. Banam means versus. At BJP versus CJP. So they are having fun with this situation. I told you both. One, the opening that we have right now in all democracies for non-ideological parties, because people are bored with ideological parties and young people are bored with ideologies. At the same time, I've described to you the struggles of non-ideological parties because you have to have something to keep you going. Just to be anti-corruption is not an ideology. Just to be pro-young people or pro-employment is not an ideology. You need some principle to get you there. Those are the problems. However, this is the era of virality. You don't need any affirmation. You don't need any filters. You don't need any editors. You don't need any publications, any mastheads to be heard now. Every human being can now be their own publisher. You can have an Instagram handle, a Twitter or X handle, a Facebook page, whatever. And if there is enough of you, or if you have an idea that goes viral, then you can build a force. That is what also produces a challenge now for conventional politics. And what it does is, it reminds me also of something. In fact, a movie that I saw in 2014 on a long flight when I was going to Melbourne from Delhi to speak at the university there. One of the films I saw on the flight was Birdman. Birdman is a 2014 film which won the Oscar that year with Michael Keaton and Emma Stone as father and daughter with a disturbed relationship. This was a part satirical and part dark film. So while the father is explaining to her why the play that he's trying to create and act in is important for him, she is attacking him, counter-attacking him by saying that you are not doing it for art, you are only doing it for relevance because you become outdated and irrelevant now. And she says there is a whole world out there who fight to get relevant every single day, and you act as if it doesn't exist. You hate bloggers, you mock Twitter, you don't even have a Facebook page. You are the one who doesn't exist. She mocks her father. Now, it made a little difference to my life. Until then, I used to mock at social media as well, particularly Twitter. Twitter was the common thing then. Instagram had not yet come in. And I did not have a Twitter page. Once I heard this, I thought I listened to those friends of mine. I was between jobs then. I had just left the Indian Express. And when I came back from Australia, I thought maybe I shall listen to Emma Stone and get myself a Twitter page. And that's how I got my presence on Twitter. In fact, a friend of mine from PR industry, Amit Prabhu, he set up a Twitter account for me for about a week or 2 weeks. Rahul Kamal ran it because I was briefly in India today and then I took charge of it. And the rest is history. So I learned my own little lesson about virality, the power of social media from this movie. And I thought this is a good story to share with you today. The film was directed by, and it's a challenge for me to get the pronunciation right, Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu, and the film won an Oscar that year.